All right, welcome to the Jim Acosta Show. And the wannabe strongman in the White House is still demonstrating how weak he really is. He is flailing and making wild threats about cracking down on protests in this country, something a president should never do. He was speaking in front of U.S. troops a few moments ago, and he trashed California Governor Gavin Newsom and the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, at Fort Bragg in North Carolina as incompetent, adding that his administration will liberate Los Angeles and make it free, clean, and safe again. Those are his words. Of course, the question is, how is Trump going to liberate Los Angeles, and how far is he willing to go? I'm joined now by Jorge Ramos, the legendary television journalist, formerly of Univision, and now an independent journalist. Welcome to the world of independent media, Jorge. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, that's where everybody is, right? On independent media, and I love how it sounds, and it gives us so much freedom just to do and report exactly whatever we want. I just started a news channel in Spanish and another one video podcast later in English. I'll tell you all about it. But now I've had the chance, for instance, Jim, just to go all around the city of Los Angeles with complete freedom, talk to everyone, and then instead of waiting for the time to broadcast the newscast and then just to put everything in 2 or 3 minutes, I have the chance just to go on minutes and minutes, maybe an hour and a half live, and it's just beautiful. It's a different way of doing journalism, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, I love it too. There's no producer in your ear saying, "Rap, rap." We have to go to commercial break. There are no commercial breaks. We can do whatever we want. And Jorge, you said you're in Los Angeles. You've been surveying the situation there. You're now outside of LA, but what's your sense of things right now?
Yeah, it's incredibly complicated because what I found beautiful, Los Angeles is a city very close to my heart because this is where I first came when I was a student in 1983, January 2nd, 1983. So this city embraced me, and I love this city back in ways that it is difficult to understand. This is my second home, and what I'm seeing right now in Los Angeles is a city where fear prevails everywhere, where other immigrants like me, but immigrants that don't have their papers ready, simply don't want to go out. They're afraid of going to school for the kids. Some of them are afraid of going to work. Some of them just want to stay home because they fear that the agents are going to appear suddenly and that their life is going to be completely changed. We've seen the videos of children complaining when their moms are being detained. I was talking with Gloria Estefan, the singer, the other day, Jim, and she was telling me how she just landed from a flight from Las Vegas, and then suddenly the agents came into the plane, detained a Venezuelan woman with a baby, and then outside the plane, they didn't allow the mother to be with the baby. Is that who we're becoming? I mean, are we a country that is going to be separating mothers from their babies? It seems that way. And that's precisely the fear that I'm noticing here in Los Angeles.
Well, and Jorge, I mean, we've seen this before. We saw this during the first Trump administration when they had the family separation policy. It was a total disaster. It was a humanitarian crisis that was self-inflicted by the Trump administration. And this time around, they were out on the campaign trail. You recall during the campaign, they were saying, we're going to go after the gang members. We're going to go after the criminals. I've been saying on this program, Jorge, that was one of the biggest lies of the 2024 campaign, because when you see what is taking place with these mass deportations, as you just said, they're going after the families. They're going after vulnerable people.
After everyone.
Kids. Yeah.
They're going after everyone because Donald Trump said that he wanted to deport all undocumented immigrants. That's simply impossible. He says there are about 20 million. The numbers that I have are completely different. There used to be about 11 million after the Joe Biden presidency. Maybe we're talking about 14 million. It is impossible simply to deport 14 million undocumented immigrants. Most of them are not criminals, are not rapists, are not terrorists, are not violent. Now they're trying to change the number. Now they're saying that they want to deport about 1 million undocumented immigrants the first year. That means about 3,000 every single day. And that's precisely why we're seeing the race everywhere. And the city of Los Angeles has been incredibly brave because what they're doing here, they're not doing in any other city in the country. They're saying no to Donald Trump. They're saying that what he's doing with the deportations, that what he's doing separating families should not be accepted. And that's precisely what we have right now, a confrontation between thousands and thousands of immigrants and the Trump administration. If you allow me just to be a little bit the reporter, I'm at a place where there was a raid about 2 days ago, and then the the agents came through this gate, and then came to this place, and then they stopped this truck, Jim. They struck the truck, and then they broke the windows.
Wow.
They this is what they did. Two of the workers were inside this truck. As you can see, all their belongings are still here. And then they detained them, and nobody knows anything about them. Eventually, we'll know their names. But
They rammed the truck.
as you can see there, yeah, there's the consequences of what happened with in the truck. Is that what we really have to do? Most immigrants. I mean, I understand if you want to deport the criminals. I understand if you want to
Sure.
deport the people from Tren de Aragua. I mean, I think that nobody's going to say no to that. I I am completely against the violence. I am against burning the cars. I'm against hitting the agents. I'm against interfering with whatever they do. But the vast majority of immigrants are not violent, are not criminal, and
Correct.
and we have to make a distinction on that.
And but Donald Trump does not accept that distinction, Jorge. He has said repeatedly that what we're witnessing right now is an invasion of this country. He continues to use this kind of language, this very dangerous rhetoric. And I mean, one of the things that we're starting to see is these protesters, and we're starting to see these protests spread to other cities around the country. What are you observing in Los Angeles? Because, Trump is saying one thing. He's saying that we've got to crack down on these protesters because they're out of control. And the mayor and the governor are saying, no, that's not the case. We
No.
can handle this.
It is really interesting. I was this morning at a press conference with Mayor Karen Bass from Karen Bass is, of course, the mayor of Los Angeles. And then I had a short interview with her. First time I talked to her, and she was making the distinction between those who are violent and those who are not. So I asked her, so what's going to happen with the Marines if it's true that Donald Trump wants to send 700 Marines to Los Angeles? What are they going to do? And her answer was perfect. She said, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
because the Marines are trained for war, right? I mean, are we going to confront the Marine? Are we going to confront the most powerful army in the world with immigrants on the streets of Los Angeles? Is that what we really want to do? Even before coming to the interview, I was at another demonstration where there were, I would say, about 100 members of the National Guard. They had really nothing to do because there was a very peaceful demonstration right in front of a detention center, and they were not actually needed. With the LAPD members, that was more than enough. So we're seeing a confrontation right now, and I don't see any solution, Jim. I honestly don't see any solution because, as you're saying, Donald Trump wants to deport all these immigrants. He doesn't want to go the other way. If he's the great negotiator, as he says he is, let's negotiate. I mean, and the way to negotiate, you don't have to deport them. You can find a solution, a legal solution to legalize 10 million, 12 million, 14 million. Why not? Why go the other way? Why use the force? I don't think it's needed, but I don't think there's any possibility. There's no middle ground right now.
I don't think so. And Jorge, I mean, you and I have been out on the campaign trail with Donald Trump going all the way back to his first campaign,
Yeah.
starting in 2015 and then into 2016 into the election year. You and I have both heard him use this very racist language about Latinos in this country, describing, Mexican immigrants as rapists and killers. And so, I mean,
Yeah.
he's used every name in the book. And so to me, what he's doing right now, it sounds as though he's just going for it. And he realizes there's only so much time he has left. There are midterms next year. And so he just has to go for it. And he wants to make the country less diverse. And he's going to try to accomplish that through mass deportations. So I don't know how you do negotiate with him. If you're Gavin Newsom, if you're Karen Bass, how do you
Very
sit down with him
difficult.
if he has this goal in mind?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so maybe we have to understand what's behind his intentions. I
Yeah.
think demography is winning. In 2045, you know the numbers. In 2045, everyone is going to be a minority in this country. It's going to be a minority majority country, or if you want to say majority minority country, it really doesn't matter. So that's where we're going. There's no other way. Sometimes I think Trump's presidency is a reaction to that trend. Um, what's wrong with diversity? What's wrong with equity? What's wrong with inclusion? Absolutely nothing. And one of the reasons why I came to this country, when I first came to this country in 1983, I came because I didn't want to be a censor journalist in Mexico. Back then, the PRI was in power.
Yeah.
There was no democracy. Actually, democracy didn't arrive in Mexico until the year 2000. So I came to Los Angeles, and something beautiful happened. I turned on the TV. I mean, if you can understand my English, good for you. Sometimes I couldn't understand my English right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then
I can't
even
understand my Spanish, so that's okay.
well, anyway,
Yeah.
it's just complicated. I learned English too late in my life. So I turned on the TV and I saw that many reporters were criticizing President Ronald Reagan, and nothing happened. They were not detained. They could continue questioning him during the press conferences. Clearly, Ronald Reagan didn't like it, but the fact that you could do that and nothing happened was beautiful to me. And I said,
Yeah.
this is precisely the country where I want to live. And I still believe that. I'm an optimist. I truly believe that democracy will prevail and that you and I are going to be able to practice this freedom of expression continuously, regardless of who's at the White House.
I agree with you, Jorge. I mean, my concern is, and I guess you talking about your background as an immigrant and as a journalist makes me wonder, because I know you've been all over the world. What you're seeing right now, though, what you're observing from Donald Trump, and I've observed this too, because I've been all over the world covering various hotspots and following the president of the United States around to various places. He sounds like somebody who wants to be a strongman. He sounds like somebody who wants to be a dictator. He was today warning protesters that we can just tell you. He said I can inform the rest of the country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force. He's talking about going after protesters if these protests continue. And to me, he sounds like he's beating his chest like a Putin-style autocrat.
But then the question, Jamie, I know that your answer, but the question is, are we going to allow one person to end 250 years of democracy? I think the answer is clearly no. We're not gonna allow that. And maybe it's my immigrant soul in which I completely believe in this country. I mean, I left a country that was not a democracy. I'm not willing to live in a country that is not a democracy. And the fact that you and I can talk right now with complete freedom, I think it's a sign, it's an example that we will continue fighting for democracy and for freedom of expression in this country.
No, I agree with you 100%.
I mean, you attack President Trump continuously, and look at you, look where you are.
Yeah.
You were
No,
able
there's
to
no
do it.
question about it. I mean, listen, I mean, I do think that he is capable of acting in ways that are very bad for our democracy. I mean, the White House went after my press pass during the first Trump
I saw that.
administration. During the second Trump administration, they're going after the Associated Press. They're trying to say who can be in the press pool and so on. So we are seeing a backsliding in terms of press freedom in the United States. I take your point, though, in that you and I are able to express ourselves. But at the same time, you talk about your immigrant experience. My dad came from Cuba. He fled just 3 weeks before the Cuban Missile Crisis, and as he likes to say, we didn't leave Cuba and leave one dictator behind so we can have another here. I mean, I agree with you that there's much to be optimistic about. There's much to be hopeful for. But what we're seeing right now, the President of the United States deploying troops. I mean, 700 Marines have arrived in the Los Angeles area just today, without the approval over the objections of the governor of California. It's something that hasn't happened since the 1960s.
And they're trained for war. I mean, that's my concern. I mean, what are you going to do with Marines trained for war? Could I change just the roles a little bit, Jim, and ask you what's your philosophy when it comes to journalism? I truly believe that we have two roles and two responsibilities. One is, of course, to report reality as it is, not as we wish it would be. But the second one, the most important one, is to challenge and to question those who are in power.
Yes.
That's how I feel. And I always sense that you have a very similar philosophy on what we should do as journalists at a time when democracy is at stake.
I absolutely believe in that, Jorge. And my sense of it right now is that, Trump and his people, they are trying to, as best as they can, and I've talked about this on my show from time to time, they're trying to the best of their ability to suppress what the free press can do in this country by intimidation tactics through lawsuits, the way he's going after ABC, the way he's going after CBS, essentially saying that his administration can block various media deals if they get too critical or aggressive. And yes, we do see examples of journalists in this country being very aggressive in their questioning of the president, but I do worry that there is a pulling of punches that we're starting to see, and that we're not seeing the press.
Self-censorship? Do you notice self-censorship?
I do think we are seeing some self-censorship in this country. When 60 Minutes loses its executive producer, when CBS News loses the president of the news division because of worries over corporate pressures, why do those corporate pressures exist? Because of one man, the president of the United States. And, as I've been saying on my show, when 60 Minutes is in trouble, all of us are in trouble. But I do share your optimism, Jorge. I do think in the long run, we're going to be okay, but it is going to take a stiffening of the spines, if you don't mind my saying, on all of our parts. I think all of us are going to have to do it, not just those in the press, but the folks who are watching this program right now. Steel
And it's
themselves for the long haul.
and it's complicated. I
Yeah.
don't know if you had the chance to see the play of George Clooney, and Good Night and Good Luck. And there's a beautiful phrase by Edward R. Murrow in which he said, "We should not confuse dissent with disloyalty." And the fact
Exactly.
that we can openly criticize the United States, I think it's another way of loving this country. As an immigrant, I love this country. This country gave me the opportunities that my country of origin simply couldn't give me. And the fact that we can speak so freely is something that I still cherish so much as a journalist.
No, I agree with you 100%. And Jorge, how are things going with you in your venture into independent media? Because it sounds as though you're just getting started. You're just getting warmed up.
I'm starting. Yeah. Well, I'm starting just like you.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to be joining Substack very soon with my columns. I'm already doing that. So I'm opening a news channel, a news digital channel for interviews and for news. And we were going to start it in 2 or 3 weeks, but then something happened here in Los Angeles, and we said this is the time to go
Yeah.
live. And that's what we've been doing for the last 2 days. And it is incredible the numbers that we get. Clearly, the audiences are here, Jim, are here with you, are here with us. So I'm doing that in Spanish, and then I'm going to be doing a video podcast with my daughter Paula Ramos. I still can't announce with whom, but it's going to be a big radio company, and we're very happy with that. Just
That's
having
great.
the opportunity again, just to do whatever you want at a time, whenever you want, just as you are doing.
Yeah, and
Were you surprised with Substack?
I've been very surprised with Substack. I have to say, and you mentioned
It's an
your daughter
amazing company.
Paula. She does an amazing job, and I got to run into her just recently. We had a really nice time speaking in front of a Hispanic
I saw that.
conference in Washington, and so we really enjoyed that. But I have to tell you, what's happening in independent media right now makes me more optimistic about this country, because what you're seeing, Jorge, and I think you're going to see this when you get started, is that there are so many folks out there who they're concerned about what's taking place in corporate media right now, and they're seeing what you're doing, they're seeing what I'm doing, they're seeing what others like us are doing, and they're saying, hey, wait a minute, I like that guy, I like this person over here, I think I'm going to watch what they're doing, because they're going to give it to us straight. And I think that's what people want.
I'm going to go to one of those moments as a reporter. Right in front of me, there's a woman about to give birth, and he was
Wow.
detained by immigration officials last Sunday.
Oh my
Hola.
goodness.
She speaks perfect English.
Hey, how are you doing? Thanks so much for talking to us.
Yeah.
So you were here 2 days ago, and you were detained by federal agents.
Yes.
Are you feeling okay?
Yeah. It's just that there's like
Contractions?
every now and then, but that's because they told me that I just should be careful because I might like give light because of the situation. But right.
But you were detained by federal agents.
Yeah.
And then when they let you go because you're pregnant.
Yeah, but they said I'm still under arrest and I'm waiting a court case as well, and they're gonna tell me like what my charges are.
Wow.
But right.
But you're a U.S. citizen. You're a U.S. citizen.
Yes. But they were telling me that because when we got to the area where they were taking everybody out,
Mhm.
they told me when I was gonna give birth. I told them June 17th, and they told me, okay, well,
June 17th, it's
yeah,
just a few days.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna. ¿Le pueden
Why would they
ayudar?
be detaining her, Jorge, if she's an American citizen? I guess my question, but
Exactly. Hey, she's listening to you, Jim.
Yeah. They said I was under that I was getting arrested for interfering with their detainment, and I was telling them that they were in private property, and there's a video that shows exactly when they started like being very aggressive because I recorded it, and it shows one of the border patrol like pushing me. The only reason I didn't fall is because like I had all my weight on the car. And so that's when I kind of like leaned forward to like protect my stomach. And that's when two more border patrol like started grabbing me and like pulling me, like dragging me away. And that's when
oh my
I
God.
was trying to like keep myself like balanced so I wouldn't fall. And I had sandals on because, like, I get, like, my feet are kinda swollen. So I had sandals on. It was kinda harder for me to, like, keep myself up.
Yeah.
And, they basically were dragging me, and that's when my cousin, stepped in and just slightly tapped the border patrol and said, "Be careful, she's pregnant."
Not
And
only pregnant, you're a U.S. citizen.
yeah.
That's
We're gonna let
outrageous,
you rest.
ma'am. I'm so sorry for you. I'm so sorry, but I hope you're okay, and I hope your baby's okay.
Yeah, luckily, but they had me under surveillance for 24 hours because when I got to the hospital, they said I was having contractions like every 2 minutes, and they were like really strong from like 6 to 7, the pain. And then after it was like every 5 minutes, but then they told me that I was dilating quickly. So that I should just like be careful if they were
Yeah.
gonna discharge me.
We're gonna let you
Mm.
rest. Thank you so much for talking to us and with
You
Jim
you
Acosta.
take care. Yes, thank you so much. Jorge, there's an
All right,
example
Jim.
right there. My goodness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just
Wow.
happening. It's happening everywhere. We were supposed to talk to her in Spanish, but then she came here and she wanted to talk to us. So,
But
Mr. Jim
that's the
Acosta,
but Jorge, before you go, I
things
promise I'll
happen.
let you go. But I mean, this is what's
Things
driving
happen.
me nuts with this whole thing, Jorge. And
Yeah.
maybe I'm a little too blunt in way I talk about this sometimes, but we shouldn't be going after women and pregnant women and children
Exactly.
in these deportation raids. And if an American citizen wants to stand in the way and make their voice heard, my goodness, do not rough up a pregnant woman. It's just outrageous.
It is incredible. So that's what we're living here in the city of Los Angeles. I think this city has been incredibly brave because the Angelinos are saying what many others are thinking. As you know, I live in Miami,
Yes.
and I've been participating in a couple of public events, and I see the frustration and the betrayal that many Cubans and Venezuelans feel with President Trump because they thought that dictatorships in Nicaragua, in Venezuela, and Cuba were going to end. And then suddenly, not only are they not ending and he's not doing anything about it, but about 850,000 Venezuelans, Cubans, and Nicaraguans, and many others, they lost their TPS, their protection. They lost
Yeah.
their humanitarian parole. And now they feel completely betrayed by an administration or a campaign that promised them something. And of course, nothing happened. Not only nothing happened, now they're in danger of being deported.
Wow.
That's where we are.
Well, Jorge, you're reminding me another Edward R. Murrow quote: "We will not walk in fear one of another." Jorge Ramos, amazing work. I mean, you just did it right here live on Substack. Thank you so much for sharing your work.
You did it with me. The first time we worked together.
I guess so. The first of many times.
First of many. Jim, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. Congratulations. You're
Thank
opening
you.
the door for many of us. And I
Yes.
really admire what you've done with President Trump and what you continue doing now.
I admire you right back. Thank you, Jorge, so much.
Thank you. See
You're
you
a
soon.
living legend. Thank you, Jorge. Good.